Hi, I'm bigcal and welcome to my world. Today is another recent video games pickups video and it is based around Nintendo Switch games. My Switch collection is just growing constantly. I've said it before, but it's the fastest growing modern game collection I've ever had for any system. Never had this many original official games for a console while it's been out. Obviously the PS1 I had a ton of games, but most of them were copies back in the day. Now I have a huge physical collection, but yeah, my Switch collection is just huge. I've got, full row there at the back, all this row here, and a new bundle to add to it. So let's get started with a Super Rare Games release. Very happy this got physical. I do own it digitally, which is why I haven't opened this one yet. So when it came out, it was available physically for a short time. Had to pick it up, and that is Fast RMX. And this is basically, what was it called on the Wii? I can't remember. Fast Racing Neo, or something like that maybe. Might be getting confused, but yeah, it came out on the Wii, and it's very much an F-Zero style game. That super fast speed and those crazy courses and tracks. And it was such a fun game. That did get a physical release, but they then released it on the Switch Digital, and it has extra content, looks and runs a lot better than it did on the Wii U. So I bought it digitally, and then came out physically, so of course I had to buy it. Came with the usual super rare cards, never bother opening those, but yeah, very, very happy to have a physical version of this game. It's a fantastic game. You can't buy it physically anymore, of course. It was a limited release. There were only, I think, 4,000 made, so you're going to have to pick it up digitally, but trust me, it's well worth it. Next we have some limited run games. Do we? No. This might have got a limited run release originally, but over here in the UK we got a regular release of it. Yeah, Stubbs the Zombie Rebel Without a Pulse. This was an original Xbox exclusive back in the day, and now we have it on here. I do own the original Xbox game. It'll be somewhere down there. Yeah, I did pay like £30 odd for it. A bit expensive at the time, but yeah, it wasn't available anywhere else. And then they released this. Yeah, so it's on modern platforms now, and it's a very fun game. One of its big claims to fame back in the day was it was built using the Xbox the Halo engine, so it would at least run good. And yeah, you play as a zombie in this weird sort of like 50s era, like futuristic town that they build, where everything's a paradise until you show up and start turning everyone into zombies, and then you can control them and get them to turn other people into zombies. Yeah, you get to eat people's brains. It's a blast. It's nice to be able to play as the bad guy for a change. Very fun. Might not hold up quite as well today. Doesn't control as well as you would want it to, but yeah, there's still lots of fun to be had here. Yeah, it didn't come with anything. Right, actual limited run releases now. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I originally played this on the original Xbox back in the day. Fantastic game. There is supposed to be a remake coming out, but it's having some issues, so whether or not it gets done, don't know. If it's going to come out, it'll be a few years still. But yeah, the original. I have a hard time playing this at the moment. It's just I have to get used to how it controls and how it works again, just because I really haven't played any other games like it since. So, it takes a little bit for me to get back into it and not being used to properly being able to control my Jedi or whatever and things like that. But once you get the hang of it, an amazing game, fantastic story. Unfortunately, everyone probably knows the twist by now, but if you don't, you lucky SOB. Yeah, so Knights of the Old Republic, fantastic RPG. Yeah, this one, of course, limited run, came with nice big thick booklet and limited run cards as usual. Yeah, amazing game. Takes a bit to get used to with the controls, but once you get into it, yeah, you're gonna have a blast. And next from limited run, and use the reversible cover for this, so it's the only Switch game now that doesn't have a red spine. That's the AVGN 1 and 2 Deluxe collection. Yeah, so it looks like, the old AVGN title cards from the original videos. Fantastic. Really, really fun action platformers with references to the series and things, of course, that James Rolfe did. Just a fun game. The first one can be a little bit finicky, bit too difficult in places. The sequel definitely makes the game more polished and more accessible, I think, but still difficult. Just overall really, really fun. Yeah, so it came with a reversible cover. That's the original, and that's great too. But yeah, I just really like this classic AVGN style case for it. So fantastic, being able to own AVGN games on the Switch physically. Just something really cool about that. Next we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. Yeah, so this is a collection of some arcade games, 8-bit and 16-bit titles, the ones that a lot of us grew up on. So of course you got the classic Turtles game for the NES with that damn level that everyone only seems to remember. Then of course you have the Turtles 2, the arcade game. I think there's Turtles 3 in here as well. That's another kind of arcadey beat 'em up style game, but better than Turtles 2. You get the original Turtles arcade game. Then you get Turtles in Time, aka Turtles 4 on the Super Nintendo, which was based on the arcade game, but some differences. Then you get Hyperstone Heist, which was kind of like the Turtles in Time for the Mega Drive, but it's a very different game. And then you get the Game Boy titles, which are a blast. They're beat 'em ups and things like that, but for the handheld they were really, really fun. Yeah, so you get an absolute crap ton of games in here. 13! There were 13 games in this collection. Really, really fun. If you grew up with these titles, pick this up. It is amazing, and it goes really well, of course, with Shredder's Revenge that came out earlier this year. So fantastic title. Next, picked up this. I already own it on PS4, but I thought I'm going to double dip. It was on sale, it was cheap. Yeah, Spyro the Dragon Reignited Trilogy. The first 3 games remastered, and they look and play fantastic, even on the Switch. I've only played on TV mode. I haven't done it undocked yet. There's probably some frame rate issues undocked and things like that, but playing it on the TV I've had no issues recording footage for this. Of course, the big issue is that I think only the first game is actually on the cartridge, the other 2 have to be downloaded. But that was the same for the original release on the PS4. I've heard that they re-released it since, they've done reprints, and all 3 games are on the disc now, but originally, nope, that was just the first game on the disc as well. So yeah, have to download them, but I got a 256GB micro SD card recently for my Switch, so I have plenty of space, and yeah, it's just nice to be able to play the 3 Spyro games now on handheld. And speaking of being able to play a game on handheld now, another one that I have on PS4, I played through this last December. I got it in a DIY gaming box for the PS4. Bought it on a whim. I'd heard great things about it, but never been that interested. It was cheap. Bought it, ended up being addicted to it for the entire month of December until I finished it. Loved it. Then it got announced for the Switch, and of course I had to buy it, and that is Persona 5 Royal. What a fantastic JRPG this is. Amazing. Just amazing. And to top it off, playing it through a second time was a very different experience for me. Obviously there's the confidant system where you talk to different people and things and you level up like a confidant system, social system. They've each got their own story. Some of them are like party members, so you can get boosts in battle and things like that, and others aren't anything to do with the actual phantom thieves, the team that you are in the game. They're just like random outsiders, but they can also help you with different abilities and things. There is a way to play through the game and level up everybody, but you have to really know what you're doing with that. I never bothered doing that, so I only did certain people in my original run, so this run I thought, let's do some different people. Doing different people was good, because it opened up an entire new section of the game for me. There is a 3rd semester that you can unlock, as long as you've fully upgraded 2 particular confidants. Once you've done that, holy hell, you get another part of the game that I completely missed out on. Yeah, so we got another story out of the game. Crazy. So yeah, I absolutely adored it playing it a second time. Just a fantastic game. I admit I played it on easy mode this time because it's like, okay, I know what the game's about now, I just want to kind of experience it a second time just for pure fun. Go through it, just have a blast, not be that difficult with the battles. I already know what's going to happen, so I played through it on easy and we spent more time with the different confidants and things like that and doing things differently, a bit more efficiently this time. I leveled up all of my different stats, your kindness and your knowledge and things like that. Had all those leveled up to level 5 way early in the game, so I could access everybody's confidant systems as quickly as I wanted, basically, because sometimes it's like, oh, you can hang out with this person, but you need your knowledge to be level 4. It's like, oh, crap. So that happened to me last time in the game, and I wasn't able to do some certain confidants because by the time I got level 5 on everything, the end of the game. This time did it a lot better. Yes, if you haven't played Persona 5 Royal, the Switch versions here, looks, sounds, plays fantastic. I had zero issues and I played almost the entirety of the game in handheld mode. So yeah, there was no issues there with that. Also looks great on the TV. It's just a fantastic port. The fact that they've been able to port this over really does say something about some other games. It's like, why don't they look and play as good on the Switch? Yeah, the Switch is underpowered to other systems, but people are doing better at optimising their games than you. Anyway, Persona 5 Royal, fantastic, play it. And a recent release, having a blast with this one as well, and that is Mario and Rabbids Spark. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, the Gold Edition. Came with a little, nice little postcardy thing, mini poster there as well. Didn't know that was coming. But yeah, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. The original game blew me away. It was fantastic. It's the tactical strategy style RPG game. Not usually my thing, but I do enjoy XCOM. And Mario and Rabbids is basically XCOM, but slightly easier and with Mario and Rabbids characters. And it was so much fun the first time around. So when a sequel was announced, I was all on board. Pre-order the gold edition that comes with all the DLC when it's released. And yeah, this one is so much fun as well. My only complaint so far is that boss battles are kind of dull. In the first game, all the bosses are these big, crazy characters, and they have their own little cutscenes, and fighting them in battle isn't just a case of going up and shooting them or attacking them or whatever. You have to do certain things first. This one, the boss battles are just basically kind of normal battles, but there's some creature there with a bit more health. That's the only thing I'm not liking so far. Maybe it gets a bit better. I've only done the first 3 planets because this one's set in space. You go to different planets. Maybe it gets a little bit better, but everything else is fantastic. So having fun with that. Can't wait for the DLC to come out, especially the 3rd one that will be later next year. Probably going to have to wait a year for that, but it's Rayman. And that's, if it's anything like the Donkey Kong DLC that came out for the first game, it's going to be amazing. So fantastic pickup. And lastly, a game that I am currently playing through, having a lot of fun with, but it does have its issues. Yeah, okay. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Only got Scarlet here, Violet I lent to my best friend, he's currently playing through it. Yeah, but I did buy both because I'm obsessed. Oh boy. So I'm sure most of you watching this video will have seen some clips and footage of Scarlet and Violet and some of the many issues that it does have. I do have to wonder if most of those videos, especially the ones that came out early, were before the day 1 patch was released. So obviously, depending on what region you were in, you might have been able to download it on the eStore a little bit earlier, or you maybe even got it physical through the post a little bit early. Sometimes with pre-orders, I get games a day or 2 early. And if you've played it before the day 1 patch, that might explain some of the bigger issues, because I've had it since day 1, installed the day 1 patch when it came. I've had nowhere near some of the crazy glitches and bugs that some people have had. Don't know if that's just me being lucky or not, but it does run like kind of crap. It is not very smooth, but it hasn't affected my enjoyment of it that much at all. I still think this is a fantastic Pokemon game. Probably one of the best Pokemon games. If they could patch the game and update and fix it so it runs at, I don't know, 30 frames a second constantly, that would be fantastic. Yeah, we're not even getting that. Get it running at 30 frames a second, the game will be amazing. Just fantastic, but it doesn't currently. Will put some people off, hasn't put me off. I've been having a blast. It took a lot of the things I loved about Legends Arceus and just improved it in terms of the open world. Arceus had big open areas. They were quite large. This one has the entire map just open to you at the beginning. The game tells you just go and do what you want. Don't listen to any of the NPCs. Just go anywhere. Yes, you will run into certain areas with higher level Pokemon that will destroy you, but for the most part, you can just sort of wander about, do what you want. Gym fights and things like that is only one part of the game. There are 2 other main stories that you can do. So, you're never sort of like, oh, I've got to go here and just do a gym battle. It's like, no, you don't. You can go over here and do this instead, or go over there and do that. And the sheer amount of Pokemon in the game, and I think there's only like 300 and odd, maybe 400 at most. So less than half of how many Pokemon there actually are. But every time you go to a new area, there are just like 30 or 40 different Pokemon just wandering about. I've never caught as many Pokemon in my life so early in the game as I did this. I had not even made it to the first Pokemon Centre in the little first town that doesn't have a gym in ever. I caught like 20 just to there. And it's a very small route, but there are just so many different Pokemon. It's like, I want to catch them all. And I've been building out a team only on new Pokemon, which has been a little bit odd because I've only really used sort of 3 Pokemon through my playthrough, and I'm nearing the end of it now. So a lot of the Pokemon I'm finding to be useless. They're just on my team, levelling up, doing bugger all. Yeah, but other than that, it is a fantastic Pokemon game. It just needs to be improved with its performance. Do that and it'll be great. I mean, it's already outsold everything on the Switch ever, basically, for the first 3 days. It's done 12 million sales in 3 days worldwide. It's just completely outdone what do you call it? Splatoon 3 recently did. It's outdone Sword and Shield, and yeah, it'll probably go on to be the best-selling Pokemon game of all time, and up there as one of the best-selling Switch games of all time. Because people do want to play it, and are loving it. Yes, it does have those technical issues, but hopefully they can be patched out. And even if not, it's still a fantastic game. I know, like I keep saying, people will be put off by the frame rate issues and things, and the slowdown and the pop-in and whatnot. But if you could just get past that, it's still a blast to play. The only issues I've had is it's crashed on me twice now. Completely had to shut down the game. One time I lost 20 minutes of sod all, really. I was just walking around. There's a particular Pokemon that you have to have out, walking around and attacking Pokemon, and once it's done 1,000 steps and then levels up, it evolves. So I was going after that, and after 20 minutes, probably getting to the point where it was ready to evolve, and it crashed. So I just had to redo that again, no big deal. The second time it was rather recently in my play, and I probably lost about 2.5 hours. Luckily, when you load up the game, if you hold, I think is it X, B and up, I think that's what it is, you get a backup save menu, and thankfully I'd just gone to a poker centre like 2 minutes earlier before it had crashed, and that must be when it basically does an autosave. I have autosave turned off just because I never really liked autosaves, but the backup save basically seems to be the autosave, but you don't have immediate access to it. So I'm very glad for that, because I'd done so much in that like 2.5 hours, I would have screamed if I'd have lost all of that, because some big things had happened in the playthrough. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, fantastic games, just need to improve the goddamn frame rate. Oh yeah, and the pre-order again, never knew these are coming. Came with little notepad, sticky notes, and a poster of the region. And because I pre-ordered both, I got 2 of each. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, those are my recent Switch pickups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new Switch games in a few months. Crazy. Like, it's just, I can't help it. So many good Switch games coming out all the time. So I'm bigcal. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my Switch pickups. Let me know any games that you bought for the Switch recently. Let me know what you're thinking of the new Pokemon games. And I'll see you again next time.